Okay, comment, like, subscribe. It's free, so it's Finance Nation here. And there is half the states in the United States are increasing their minimum wage in their state above the federal minimum wage. If it's already there, it's already there. If it's not, it's not. But they're increasing it above, higher than it is in 2024. 22 will happen on January 1st, and 3 more will happen in the middle of the year. So, it says July 1st. Some of the states I was scrolling through, so I'm having trouble finding it now. But yeah, it was saying also that this is something by Market Watch, published today, 8:22 a.m. Central Standard Time. So today is December 30th, 2023, the brink of just about the new year. And so the livable wage in the United States right now, as reported, is about $40,000 a year. I've been reading that over and over again here and there. People say $20 an hour. Others, and this article says $40,000 a year. Comes to about $20 an hour for that 2,000 or so hours and a 40-hour work week. $20 an hour is the livable supposed wage in the United States. A few years ago, when the $15 an hour craze was going on, they were like, the minimum wage would be $15 an hour if it would increase with inflation. It's not a livable wage and stuff like that, the federal minimum wage, and it never increased. But employers were going up and saying this and that and the other, and were doing it because they didn't want it. Amazon was doing stuff. Target was doing 15. And now this year, if you Google it right now, Target, there's all of these headlines. Target, for some jobs, low wage entry level positions in some parts of the country, it doesn't say, will be $24 an hour. But anyway, there is a suburb in Denver, and they said for a specific employer, Seattle suburb, a Seattle suburb, not Denver. But Seattle suburb of Tukwila, Washington, is mandating larger employers pay workers at least $20 an hour, $20.29 an hour, and medium-sized employers pay at least $18.29 an hour, higher than the state's new $16.28 an hour minimum. So basically, this is getting into some other concepts that other places I heard about were being talked about, where they were like, oh, well, this employer, maybe the big gigantic one, Amazon or say Walmart, maybe they should be subject to paying at least a certain amount for certain roles or certain things or something like that was the object. Or they were saying larger companies. They didn't specifically say any names, but they did say large corporations are the ones who can afford, because it's the mom and pops. They're always like, well, the mom and pops can't afford it. So then they were like, well, just make the larger corporations afford it. But then are the large mom and pops going to be able to sustain, of course, keeping the employees, or they're only going to be able to hire, the 16-year-olds without any work experience? Because even those 16-year-olds without work experience are going to be able to get the jobs with the other employers. With that said, it did say 10 million workers, or minimum wage workers, were subject to this. It didn't say it in this article specifically. Were subject to these new increases that were going to be, affected by this. So that's really awesome for them. If you're in that boat, you're not sitting there saying, yay, I'm getting minimum wage, so now they have to pay me more. they probably want to get paid more than the minimum wage, but they are sitting there saying, you know, for the people that have are stuck constantly at that minimum wage that aren't getting a pay raise regardless over and over year after year after year, they might be saying that. But anyway, just some food for thought. Anyway, what do you think of the minimum wage? And what do you think? Just what is your comments on that? And what do you think should be done about the federal minimum wage and its concept and the concept of minimum wage? I, for one, um, back in my master's degree, I used to write about it a lot. I used to be like, oh, and the livable wage is $15 an hour right now, according to this article. But that was back in 2008 and 2009. So when they were saying back in like 2017, 18, whenever that was, maybe during the pandemic, that it was $15 an hour, I'm like, no, there's been some inflation between 2008 and 2015, 2017. There's been some inflation. I found those $15 an hour articles back then, and I was probably more liberal then than I am now when it comes to wage, and I made more than I make now, but as far as some of the stuff, when it comes to certain things, I don't want to give. I try not to give myself away, but I think I've already given myself away on here somewhere. Um, but anyway, what do you think of the minimum wage and the whole idea of where it's going and where it's going with company to company to company, and how one company will say this store's minimum wage is this and this and that and the other, and is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? And I've seen I don't like I'll tell you right now. Well, this is gonna sound liberal. I don't like the union busting that's going on with Starbucks. Um, I totally forgot about that when I bought a drink there recently. I intentionally didn't go there one time because I was like, oh, they've been union busting, and intentionally laying off and or firing people. And whether they say it's for that or not, um, it doesn't matter. Then they're not being punished for it, right? So anyway, peace out. Comment, like, subscribe, and have a good day. Bye.